Few days ago, I came in for my shift in the morning without thinking about father-in-law at all. I had a cup of tea, looked who I was going to be paired with, and when my partner and I walked out the police station to go to the patrol car, I saw my father-in-law. He did kind of come up to me, not close enough for a conversation, but close enough so I could hear him. He was saying something about my wife and the money he needs. I saw him, but I totally ignored him. I just walked past him without saying anything. I went straight to the patrol car to start my shift, and the fact that I ignored him made him annoyed quite badly. He stepped back a bit, waited until we got in the car, and just before we turned on the engine, he grabbed a rock and threw it at the windshield of our car. The windows of our patrol cars are quite, though fortunately it cracked but did not get broken, and I didn't end up with a face full of glass. My partner wasn't driving. I was driving. And it was obvious that he aimed his throw right at the driver's seat where I was. Then he realized that doing that to a police car in front of two police officers in front of a police station was such a stupid thing to do. He turned around and took off running. I got out and ran after him. This pursuit wasn't very long. He only made it to the park, and that's not far from the station, when I caught him, and that's when he started to make the biggest sin I've ever seen. Father-in-law had no intentions of calmly letting me place him in handcuffs. He dropped to the ground and started to yell for help, help, help. It was an early morning, but there was already quite a lot of people in the park. Some were jogging, some were walking their dogs, some were just walking through to get wherever they needed to go. He was yelling so loudly and saying like, people, good people, help me. I'm being abused. Call the police. This is not a real cop officer. He's trying to kidnap me. He was yelling for help so that everyone in the park stopped whatever they were doing and looked at us. Everyone, men, women, children, dogs, cats, squirrels, there was not a single person that wasn't looking at us. You might think I'm a young man and he's an old man, so I should be able to hold him down, but really it's not that simple. He was hitting and biting me. He was also spitting at me. During the struggle, he kicked me lots of times, and it was quite hard and painful. Honestly, at this point, I had all the rights to taser, but I didn't. My partner came with the car, she helped me, and together we managed to handcuff her. The next problem was getting him into the patrol car. Our patrol cars are like vans. The back door opens and there's like a cage with a bench where you can put the person in. And father-in-law was not going to get in there without a fight. Even with him handcuffed, he was kicking at the door. We spread his legs very wide so we couldn't get him in. And when we got him in, he was putting his feet in the doorway so we couldn't close the door. While he was doing all this, he never stopped yelling that we're breaking his bones, that we have no right to treat him like this. That's it against the law, and still asking people to call the real police. During my whole career as a police officer, I've never had to arrest someone like this. I've arrested many aggressive people, many weird people, and many drunk people. But this right here is the stupidest thing ever. We took him to the police station. We had lots of trouble getting him in the car. Now he didn't want to get out of the car. He held onto the bars and we literally had to grab and pull him out once he's out. Father-in-law immediately demands to see the captain. He wasn't listening when we tried to explain that the captain wasn't going to do anything for him and he shouldn't be bothered with this. He screamed that he has the right to see someone superior. And technically, he's right. So we went to get a captain for him who recognized him for the last time and wasn't too happy to see him. Father-in-law said he wants to complain about this officer, which is me. He said I'm an abuser of power and used my way to strengthen him and didn't even care he's an old man. I twisted my hands and pushed him in the car. And the captain asked to see my body camera. This is one of the reasons why we use body cameras at all time. If the suspect says one thing and the officer says something different, then you can watch the recording and see what actually happened. So the captain played the recording for all the present to see, and he asked father-in-law, "What's this?" And she was clearly ignoring my orders on camera. Father-in-law said, "This is me fighting for myself. It's a survival instinct. I thought he would take out the gun and shoot me." The captain was like, "No, this is you resisting arrest. If an officer is giving you a lawful order, you're supposed to listen. And if you don't listen to the officer has the right to use a certain amount of force to detain you." Then father-in-law said, "This is awful. I take no orders from this cunt," while glaring at me. He was charged with vandalism, fleeing for the police, resisting arrest, and assaulting an officer. And just as he was going to be taken to the jail, father-in-law suddenly started to complain that he's feeling sick. He said his head hurts, he's feeling dizzy, and his blood pressure is too high, and she wanted an ambulance. Everyone realized that he's faking, but just to be sure that they were not mistaken and he doesn't die when arriving at the jail, we called the ambulance. The medics came and examined him, and just like we thought, he was totally fine. His heart rate was normal, so was blood pressure. He probably didn't know that even if he was hospitalized, an officer would have gone there with him and stayed with him the whole time. And as soon as he was okay again, he would be transported to the jail anyways. He wouldn't sneak away if that's what he was thinking of doing. The ambulance left, and even though our captain is very calm and a composed man, at this point he seemed very irritated by father-in-law. He was like, "Man, is the Saka solver, or are you trying to give us more nonsense?" Father-in-law then asked him if he was going to punish me. He answered no, he's not going to punish simply because I was doing my job. And then father-in-law looked straight at him and said, "Are you gay?" I froze and couldn't believe that he really just asked that to a captain. I know he's not gay, but this was probably the most inappropriate thing he could ever have done. He ordered father-in-law to be taken to jail immediately, and he even still had the audacity to speak. He insisted of having a phone call that he could call her daughter and she could pay his bail. I'm not sure why he thinks my girlfriend's going to pay him out this time when she did not do it at the last time. I called her first and told her that this monster is arrested. She seemed quite happy as she's tired of him. The captain offered my girlfriend to come to the station and see the recording if she wants, but we really don't want to show, and it wasn't necessary. Father-in-law did call my girlfriend and she refused to bail him out, so he has to stay in the jail cell to his trial since he already has a record. I'll be surprised if he's not given jail time this time. Can you believe he would put his actual daughter in such a weird spot, and now he actually faces jail time?